Hey, good. So, hey everybody, how we doing? This is Jason Company coming to you, Redbeard Rebuilding, coming to you from the shop. I'm gonna turn the camera around here. All right, so now that I got you guys facing forward, these two lovely purple Nemeths in front of me are those two that had the really bad bends right up in there. And as you can see, they are as straight as humanly possible without the use of machinery, because I don't have the machinery to do so. But if I'm spinning it currently, I don't know if you guys can tell because the shadow, I mean, there's still a little bit of cockiness up there. Some of it is going to be taken care of with a little bit of filler because I burnt what was left in there. Spinning this one around, same thing. We burnt out some of the filler that was up in there that Nemeth uses. I'll give you an example here. Yeah, there's my finger. This tan color in here and up here is a type of spray filler that they use. Exactly for what purpose? Not sure. But as you can tell, maybe a little bit, it's down to bare metal in here where there used to be some, you can see it bubbling up here along with the paint, that there was filler in there. Now obviously Nemeth sent it out with a straight shaft, not the slightly bent one. But let's get it up here. Bring the green one down here. Get you to see it as well. The green one was the worst of the two, so that's why you can tell I heated two different spots down here, and you can definitely see there where those bubbles were and where that body filler is no longer. So yeah, we had to take care of that. But when it comes to being straight, they are usable and ready to go to the best of my ability and probably any other humankind without the use of a roller or other machinery. Now these two will go along with it. It's OTE, an older OTE ladies 60 and an older OTE, or excuse me, a Gill Pacer 70, I believe. They're going to go along with this grouping of four, and we'll get you back in here when I go to get ready to paint them. Hey everybody, welcome back into the shop here. We're going to start getting those Nemeths figured out. We're already sanded down for the most part. This one was the one with the pink tail. There was filler, or a spray filler, back in here. We really only, we only really heated up about yay far on this one, maybe down into here a little bit. That was pretty much as far as we went. But the filler that was here obviously got chipped out from the heat. On the other one, we had to go down a little farther. I think does it all, it all fits in the frame. We came down to about here, obviously from the tail down, and about down to here, where everything basically chipped out from. A little fuzzy from the sanding. So what I have done, normally I would do this, mix the paint up, primer, paint, whichever, mix it all up, spray it out of a gun. But right now I don't have a project big enough for that. With only needing yay far to yay far on these two javelins, there was no reason to do that. So we just went to the store and bought a version. This is called filler primer. Basically, it is a thick primer, a thick sanding primer. Um, yes, there is a difference between sanding primer and non-sanding primer. It all sands, just one sands better. Um, but yeah, um, this is Rust-Oleum. A bunch of different companies have their own versions of it. It doesn't really matter for what we're doing. But this, um, I didn't take any measurements on this right now, just because I knew I was going to put this on. Excuse me. But I knew, because I knew I was going to have to do it. But on their javelins, it can make a difference if you don't do this. Some other javelins that I can remember off the top of my head right now. Um, One of them is the OTE countervail. Whether it does it on the OTE standard carbon, I don't know. I didn't get to sand one of those. Um, but we got to play around with the OTE countervail carbon. We did a video on where I repaired the tail that got damaged. Um, that whole entire javelin has a fill primer on it. And if you don't go back through and put it back on, it not only affects your weight, it also affects the diameters of the javelin. And if you don't get it right, then if you have a judge that goes through and measures all your diameters, you're going to be out of luck because your javelin's not going to match up. So, can be a problem. So we're going to go ahead, get this rolling. We're going to spray that a time or two, sand it a time or two, just to get something nice and smooth. And we're going to go and give it a good, right now it's about, I think it's an 80 grit sand. While I don't think any of you are going to go do this, maybe you will. Maybe you'll take over the business. I don't know. One Nemeths, you have to be careful when you're sanding, because if you sand too far, you're going to take all that off, and that's no good. Now, why Nemeths puts it on there, I don't know. They won't tell me. So, on some of the javelins, you can actually find writings on the javelins where it's saying, hey, we need to put it here, hey, we need to put it there. Not like that, but there's numbers and arrows and markings on some of the javelins that told the person where to put the primer or where to put the filler primer. And when you look at the javelin, oops, like if we go from front to back, we'll wipe it down. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to tell it. Not the white, but the yellow on here is not everywhere. It is only in certain spots. Like there's none here, there's none here. It's not everywhere on this javelin. So we can't say, just do the whole thing. It doesn't need it. With the fill primer, I'm not saying standard primer, you need that to paint, but the fill primer is not needed everywhere on this javelin. So why they did it, I don't know. Is it because their shafts aren't true and straight? No, I don't think it's that, because right now I took this thing from looking totally cockeyed to being almost straight, but it's as straight as a human's gonna make it without like rollers and machinery. I did it with my own eyeballs and a pair of pliers and my vise on my bench vise. So that's as straight as we're gonna be able to get it. It's just the way it is. So why they did it, I'm not sure. But it's all part of the business. So let's see. Things are a little tight in here because we're doing some cleaning, but we'll make it work. Everything's all right there. Like I said, normally I would end up doing this on my own by mixing everything up and spraying it out of a gun. But the high build primer, you only ever need so much of it. You know, if I had another, making all sorts of them. If I had a project where where I was using all the high build primer, you know, I got some stuff over there that I did it on a couple weeks ago. You know, if I would have done this at the same time, then yeah, we would have all of it. But we would have made up a full, you know, a cup of it and sprayed it. But we don't do that today. So like I said, we're gonna do this a time or two. It'll be like a spray, a sand, with some 320, just to get the coating on there. It's not going on there to make it straight and true. It's just going on there to replace the manufacturer's primer, basically, or the fill primer. So that's a Nemeths problem. Like I said, the OTE countervail does it too, whether or not the OTE other carbon does. Nordic carbons don't do it. I can't really think of any other Javelin that has a fill primer. Honestly, a lot of Javelins really don't have a standard primer because the type of paint that they use, they're using like electrostatics and fly stuff like that, powder coats thing. You know, I'm using automotive paint, so we need a primer on there for everything to stick to. So that's a little different, but yeah, we'll come back to you in a second or two when we're getting ready to paint. Hey everybody, we are back again, same video technically, with the Nemeths project, as well as the two other jabs that got done with it. As you remember me doing earlier in this video, they had a major bend, like crazy bend in their tails due to a accident in shipping or transport. So wanted to show you now. Nothing. These are obviously only in base. There is no clear on them, so I'm trying to watch where I put my hands, because if I touch the white, by God, there's going to be fingerprints. And I could rinse my hands in bleach, and they're still going to be there. So, which side's the camera on? So we're trying to give you a view as best as possible. Obviously, there's still always going to be something there. It's never going to be 100% true ever again without mechanical intervention, which I do not have. So this is number 2. One is an 85 and the other is 90. So that's what we got there. And they asked for the red, white, and blue flag paint job. Not the flag, but just the standard red, white, and blue. Red, white, blue. Anyway, we are going to do a little reveal here while we're at it, because they had two other Javelins, a 70 Pacer and a 60 OTE ladies. And they wanted a blue and white and a red and white. Obviously, this is the 70 Gill. See if we can find the end here. We slowly. More tricks we're doing. And we did the double stripe on these midway through the shaft, close to midway through the shaft, which is right here. And you guys can see the start of that there. Let's see if we can I really need to get myself a microphone. I'm gonna try and keep that spiral in frame. Now we only did the spiral part of the way. I don't know if you call that my new signature move or something like that, but I like doing, Nordic and everybody else does the standard stripe, the whole length of the javelin. I started to like having the end of a javelin, or end of the spiral in the javelin, whether it's in the front here like this one is, or if it's in the tail, kind of just play around with it. And it's almost like you can also blend it. Instead of having the sharp point here, you can blend this and then watch the spiral just come out of it, and it's really cool that way too. So you guys can see the pointed end of that spiral just coming out, which is pretty cool to me anyway. I have not had any complaints anyway. Let's do the ladies here. And there's the end. Ladies is always a little more difficult because the end is smaller. Technically it's not smaller because they all come to at least a 4 millimeter minimum, I think. 3.5 to 4 minimum in the tail. So it's just the taper that's much, much different. All right, now we got the whole thing. And we did the same one here where we start the second spiral in there. Where is it? There it is. Again, I'm really trying to make sure I keep my fingers off of that white. Now on this one, I used a smaller, well, 2 different size pieces of tape. With the guys, I use the standard 3/4. This one I use the 1/4 and 3/4. Oh, out of the frame, sorry. There we go. And come down to a point. Oh. Piece of tape stuck in. Where did I see that? I'll get that out of there. So, there is the start of that one. Coming in through there. And then starting there. I think that worked out pretty well. So after this, probably not going to happen until I come back from the holidays, but they're going to get their clear coat and then obviously grips and shipped out. So that's what I got. Everybody, stay safe, throw far, take care of yourselves, take care of each other.